welcome from my side. Good morning, everyone. We already had our first technical checkup, as some of you might have noticed. Everything besides our setup here in the head office seems to work, so that's at least for the others good news, and we were able to improvise, at least for the moment. Maybe before we start into the content, just hello, my name is Christoph Mertens. Some of you already know me, some of you might not. I'm the head of adoption. As such, I'm responsible for the adoption activities, and as such, also for the so-called Launching Coalition, which is why we are here together today. So I'm here to present you together with a lot of people who are part of the Launching Coalition. Our achievements so far, at least some of them, unfortunately, even though we have 2.5 hours from now on, we don't have the time to go through everything since so much is happening, but we hope we selected some nice highlights for you to show you what is going on here at the head office in regards of adoption activities and making IDS market ready. Because I'm not quite sure on which level you stand regarding IDS, just to make sure that we all talk about the same thing. So IDS is the standard that delivers data sovereignty to data ecosystems, to data spaces. Without going into the architectural details, this slide basically shows what the IDS ecosystem consists of. So component-wise, we have different participants that are connected to the IDS ecosystem via the so-called connectors. We have digital certificates, we have dynamic attributes provisioning services, participant information services, metadata broker, app stores, clearing houses, vocabulary providers, and so on and so forth. And of course, certification for participants and implemented components. This is the story that you hopefully already know. And until beginning of this year, we had already a very good view on what we want to do with the IDS about these components. We have specifications of each of these components, and also implementations and MVPs and research projects. But what was always missing was the market readiness. So if a company approached us and said, okay, we really like the idea of IDS, but how can I use it? Where can I buy it? I want to do business with it. It was not possible until beginning of this year. And this is why we started the Launching Coalition and decided to come up with a certain baseline. So market readiness is not something of the future, but something of the present. And this is our mission of the Launching Coalition, to build a base camp from which companies can start exploring data sovereignty in business means. And the base camp, when we melt it down to the components, really means that we have certificate authorities, stubs, pairs, connectors, certification as a process. And all of this described in what we call the rulebook. More on that will be later today presented by Sebastian Steinbus, our CTO. And in case you wonder who is the Launching Coalition, I just put that on one slide very briefly. So we have basically a bunch of member companies that do not only believe in the idea of data sovereignty, but also believe in the idea of that IDS is defined to a state where it can be made market ready. We are all together pulling on one string, making IDS reality for the market. So we have more than 30 companies here on the list. We have more than 20 use cases, and all are committed on this very standard, the IDS standard. We work in 3 different working streams. One that is talking about the business cases and how to earn money with IDS-based IT ideas. Another work stream is building the actual solutions and dealing with the certification of those solutions. And the writing rulebook work stream of, like I said, we will see some more later. Here are the use cases that we're dealing with, the companies that are assigned to the different use cases, and the so-called mission support team that helps the people who build use cases to be able to do so. So by consultation. How can I build a connector? How can I advance the connector? What are certification criteria, and so on and so forth. So a lot of questions also arise amongst the rows of the pioneers and experts here that we are working on collaboratively and together, and we are solving this. And without further ado, let's have a very quick look into the agenda. You're also able to discover the agenda on your own here in the hands-out session, or in German Unterlagen it says. You will find a PDF file with this very same agenda, showing you what will be up today, and maybe also allowing you to pop in and pop out when it is convenient for you. So we will have a very first start with some insights on essential components. We will see a use case from TNO called Smart Connected Supply Chain and Smart Factory, which is a portion of this very use case related to Gaia X. We also will have some insights from SQS into the evaluation facilities. So I already talked a little bit about certification. They are the ones who really bring this forward together with others of the association. Then we will have another insight into essential components, namely DAPS and Paris, and elaborated on that, the Gaia box as one IDS connector implementation. And then we will already step into what I introduced as rulebook and IDSG, so the technical descriptions and the operational descriptions of all the things that we are defining here at IDS. Afterwards, we go in more depth into different use cases. So from Deutsche Telekom, from German Edge Cloud, we will have a use case from a startup called Scope. We have another use case from the German SIG AG. We will then have hopefully some insights on the certificate authority. I think Klaus Otradowitz at 11:35 won't be able to join in person, but I will have his slides and will not give the exact presentation, but give you some insights on where we stand in regards of certificate authority and X509 certificates. Then again, we go to Chris Langdon. Sorry, I realized I did not switch the slide. So I'm here with Chris Langdon at 11:45. Talking about communities. So not only use cases are happening and components are built and processes are defined, but also people with same interests are going together and form communities. In this very case that Chris will present, he will talk about the mobility community. Then Lars Nagel, our CEO, will give you some insights on the support organization, an organization that is just in the phase of being built and that is meant to support those who are exactly doing what we are doing, building the IDS ecosystem. And an organization founded by members of ours, which is called Trust with double Z, that is also doing more or less what the Launching Coalition is doing in a smaller portion and in a market-driven way. And then I will go to the outlook, what you can expect in the future from the Launching Coalition and the IDSA in that regards, and a short Q&A.